Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. On this episode, I want to talk about two things. Mainly, how the car's going, and it's not perfect, but it's not too bad. And secondly, the full aluminium water pump that I got the other day when I thought I needed a water pump. That was a good $600 lesson. You know what, let's start at the water pump, because I think that's going to be the most interesting thing. Now, if you've had an M54 for any amount of time, you know that water pump failures are very common. It seems to me that most of the failures are actually due to the front housing cracking. So these having the aluminium housing should be stronger than the plastic, and plastic obviously over time, a lot of heat cycles, it gets brittle. So what used to flex will now not flex. So I mean really this aluminium housing should fix the main flaw of the M54 water pump. Let's open it up and have a quick look. Now I had read about N54 water pumps and these aluminium ones last year when I bought the genuine one for my car. I actually rang the company that I bought this from and got a price on a genuine one, and I used that quote when I ordered this on Monday, mainly because I've known them for a while and they always do me good prices. I was like, hey, remember that thing you quoted me on a year ago? It was a different company to where I bought the one that's in the car, but it was a genuine one. I ordered it, and this part number is the one that was quoted on for the genuine pump. And this is what turned up, and I thought, well, that's a bit strange. I opened it straight up and had a bit of a heart attack because I thought it was some weird Chinese thing that had been painted silver. And I'm thinking I could have got a genuine pump from Clickable for this money. But yeah, no, it turns out it is some sort of new version. Now, I guess I just want to touch on as well, this is the company I bought it from, it's Repco. It's one of the biggest parts stores in Australia. They buy these through a company called Welsh. Welsh is the actual Australian importer of these pumps, and they were importing the Continental pumps and selling them to Repco previously. Now, Welsh have obviously switched the part number to this INI product, which is what's on here. And I don't know anything about INI. I did a quick Google, couldn't find anything about them. Obviously the box says they're based in Germany, but it doesn't actually state anywhere, just double checking. Yeah, it doesn't state anywhere where this pump's made, and I feel like it's probably made in China. Now, when I mentioned that I had a full aluminium pump the other day, a few people actually said about it being the O'Reilly pump. Now I did some Googling, found the O'Reilly pump. Even in America, that O'Reilly pump seems to be dearer than what you can get the genuine Continentals for. I think it was around 400 US. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And if you've got one of those O'Reilly pumps, please hit us up in the comments below how it's gone, if you've had any issues with it. But looking at the O'Reilly pump, it's a very basic, it looks straight, like it's straight out of China. This one has got laser etching on it that says INI, and then it's got some sort of production number on it, but it doesn't state anywhere where it's made, which is kind of interesting. In fact, you know what, I'll grab my other phone out so you guys can have a better look at this as we go. Now, just make sure it's working. Yep, we are recording. So that's that INA logo that's etched into the housing. And yeah, I mean, it's a full cast pump. Now, I noticed a few people on the O'Reilly's ones were making the assumption that this housing is just painted plastic, and legit, when I first pulled it out of the box, you look at this section up here and you think they've just painted the plastic silver, but it is an actual full metal casting. So you can see on the section there where the hose has been machined, it's proper shiny aluminium, and when you get up close you can see it is alloy. This bit here is the biggest sort of what's going on. In fact, you know what, bugger it, we'll scratch it. I hope the phone focuses. But yeah, you can see there it sort of goes a bit shiny when you scratch it. It is an actual full aluminium housing. But it was quite expensive. Yeah, I paid $600 for it. I was expecting to get a genuine one. When I first realised that it was a proper aluminium one, I was quite excited to really try it out and see what it's like, see if it is any good and see if it's an alternative that's actually better than the Continentals. But now that my water pump's not actually faulty, I've got a spare one, so I'm sure it'll get used at some point. Or if you're local and you want to buy it for $600, you're welcome to come and pick it up. But I won't send it back to the supplier. I used to hate when people used to return things to us unnecessarily. It is my fault. I shouldn't have ordered it, so I will be keeping it. Yeah, that is the pump. It was supplied with new bolts and also instructions, which I can only assume come from INI, not the Australian importer, because they've got multiple languages on it, but I had a quick read through them, and it's basically a big warning about mounting this to the block. The early N54 pumps were rubber cushioned, where these mount hard up against the block, as does the Continental one that I've got in at the moment. And they've also supplied the steel mounting bolts, not the aluminium ones. And there's a big spiel on how to torque them up, but yeah, I just sort of show you. It actually looks like a well-made product, although I've got my feelings that it's coming from, yeah, I thought it was an identification number. It is definitely coming from China, even though it is branded as INI. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anyone's actually used one of these INI pumps, or even if you've used one of the O'Reilly's pumps. Let us know how it's gone, if you've had any unusual premature failures. And yeah, hopefully it might be something that becomes a bit more popular and gets rid of the issue of them cracking. All right, so that's that main part of the video. Let's have a look at how the car is going. So I have been on 2 drives with this lovely thing, and it is now back up on the hoist. I did those first logs in the first video, and everything sort of went okay, but I thought I'd get some more miles up on it, let the DME sort of learn any adaptations it needs to learn, and go from there. Everything smells fine, no coolant leaks that I can find, but we do have an oil leak. Now, let me grab a torch, and we'll have a squiz underneath it, and I'll show you the oil leak. I haven't had a look at it this morning, but I had a look at it when I parked it in here last night. And yeah, everything's pretty dry. The friggin' exhaust putty that I've put on there just makes such a mess. But the oil leak, it's right here. Now, it hasn't actually dripped enough to drip on the floor, so maybe it's leftover residue, and I can't really see exactly where it's coming from, but you can just see it's dripping off of the water pump right there, and it's dripping down onto this hose here. That kind of sucks, because on this side of the engine we have the turbos, all those O-rings that I reused that I shouldn't have reused. Yes, haters can say I told you so right now, but it is definitely coming right down at the front of the engine, so it's a bit of a difficult one. I'm going to spend some time, and I will update you guys once I know where that's leaking from. I did see some oil. Ah, look, there's more oil there. My BMP fittings, they always bloody leak. It's really shit. If anyone's running these BMP fittings, let me know how you've sealed up there. I've just got thread tape on at the moment, but it always weeps oil out of those fitting ports. And coming up top, let's have a quick look. Yeah, the tray that works as like a heat shield from the turbos. When I got back yesterday, there was a small drip of oil just sitting on the tray just there. So I've wiped it off, and it is gone. I am thinking there's probably a bit of a possibility that that is leftover oil from, because those trays, they're like folded tin, I guess, and oil can get trapped in there, and I didn't clean it. I just unbolted it from the old engine and put it straight on this one. So am I being optimistic, thinking it might be trapped in oil there that will be running down the front? But yeah, everything looks really, really dry. I did slide my phone down there last night, and I'll try and overlay that footage now, just to see if there's anything obvious around the turbos, and everything looks squeaky clean and dry. So I do need to work out where that oil leak's coming from. But aside from that, she's running really well. It sounds good. The wastegate rattle that I mentioned in the first video, I realized after I turned the cameras off that I'd actually left that vacuum line off. So it wasn't running correct vacuum to the turbos. However, it sounds good when you start it cold, which I will do now. So you guys can hear it. And when it's up on the hoist like this, you get massive resonances from the wastegates. Start her up. Oh, got to touch the brake. So that's a cold start. You can hear the wastegate there. It rattled for a few seconds, then obviously JB4's woken up and it's put it to the correct wastegate position. But when I got back from the drive yesterday, it was rattling again. But I will keep investigating that. But aside from that, engine's running good. I'm pretty excited about it. The other thing that is playing on my mind with this wastegate issue is you can't hear it unless you've got the windows down. And of course, because the aircon's still not working, I'm driving with the windows down, so maybe that's why I'm hearing it more. Maybe it was making noise before. I don't know. But yeah, you can't hear it when the windows are up and on a normal ground. Everything's going pretty damn good. I have sent the full logs off to JSR last night. Yeah, I could show you them, but they just look like normal logs. Very minimal timing corrections, no issues with it. The car is shifting how it used to. The port injection's working. Wastegate duty cycle at 20 psi is only about 55%, so the turbos aren't working hard. That kind of implies that I haven't got any boost leaks, which is a miracle. I was worried about boost leaks. The engine swap has been good. And doesn't she look good? It actually spent the night outside. Shit, not last night, the night before. It got rained on. I've driven it in the rain. That ceramic coating is actually really impressive. I mean, that's a black car that's been in the rain. And hardly anything stuck to it. So I do need to thank JD again for doing that. Guys, we are actually going racing tomorrow. Not ourselves. It's actually our cousin is racing. Yeah, he races a Porsche somehow. And we're going to go do some filming around there. We're also going to check out Test and Tune, because we do need to get this car, Dave's car, and the new E92 down and do some proper quarter mile passes. So we're just going to see how the Test and Tune setup all runs down at Queensland Raceway, or Willowbank, whatever they call it. So there'll be a little bit of a video that we will film tomorrow, but we won't get it edited till Sunday. So I think we're going to do a Saab trim update video tomorrow, because Dave did some cool stuff with his girlfriend's car. All right, we'll cut it off here. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you've got any info or experiences, holy crap, it scratched my top, on using the metal water pumps, please let us know. Keen to hear any feedback if they are actually any better, but yeah, they are genuinely metal. So they shouldn't crack, it should be a better option. All right guys, thank you again. Team M54, we're coming in strong. I really want to wind this thing back up. She's a good car, just needs some love.